Hi guys, welcome back. In this tutorial, I will continue to my beginner series. In this tutorial, I will show you how to work with these kind of cylindrical shapes, a little intro to topology, and UV unwrapping. I suggest you to model this object with me two times, then try to recreate that model with your own, with just that image plane. So if you get a good result, make sure that you share that with us in our Discord group. So let's get started. All right, let me first change my layout to model. So we will have a bigger viewport. After that, let's go to right view, press Shift and V, and select image plane. I will increase my transparency to something like that. And let me change the position of that keyboard. Alright, as the title says, I will start with a cylinder. Put it here. Let's decrease the height to 1. I won't change the rotation segments. I will change the height with that dot. Just click and drag that point. Let's center that. Also, I will increase my radius. Now I will make my cylinder editable. Press C, or you can press here. After that, I will switch to polygon mode. Rectangle selection. Select the top polygons. Also, I will align the bottom polygons too. Then I can scale these polygons. Click here or press T and scale. Same for the top polygons. Now I will select the bottom polygons with rectangle selection. Select them and simply delete these. Switch to edge mode. Select these same edges. Press Ctrl and move these edges. This is gonna extrude them. I will do that one more time, but this time I will change my tool to scale tool. Press here or press T. Then slightly scale them. Let's check that in 3D view. Also, let me turn off that work plane and save frames. Alright, now I will make another extrude. This time I will do that with scale tool. Press Ctrl and scale. This is gonna extrude these edges. Alright, now I want to select these polygons. To do that, go to selection, loop selection, select these polygons. After that, right click and split. This is gonna make a new mesh. I will switch to model mode and move that new mesh to here. Now let's make them one object. Select them all, right click, connect objects and delete. I will switch to edge mode. Now I need to connect these ones, these two objects. To do that, let's use bridge tool. Just click and bridge them, bridge these edges. This is gonna be enough, but to make these edges perfectly straight, I will select these two, switch to scale move tool or press T and slightly scale these two edges. Alright, now let's try to close that hole. Double click on these, press Ctrl, extrude. After that, right click and say collapse. It's gonna collapse all the edges into a one point. Now I will double click on these outer edges, switch to move tool, press Control and move these edges. This is going to extrude them. I will do that 2 times, 1 and 2. But this time I will scale these edges with scale tool, press T, press here, and select the scale. To make the distance between these polygons or edges, I will only scale the x-axis. Now I can close here too, right click. This time let's use close polygon hole. I have these empty points. I need to connect them. To do that, we use line cut, select line cut. Let's make it single line and connect these points. I will leave that point because I will connect it with that one. Now let's add a subdivision surface to our scene and put our object under that subdivision surface. This time I will start to add my loop cuts. Right click, select loop cuts, and add these loop cuts where you want the edges to be sharp, like here, here, and let me see. I think this is going to be enough. Maybe here. And you see an error. This is because of these 2 points. They are not connected. So select them, right click and weld. So now we can make a perfect loop cut right here. To see the result, let's enable subdivision surface or simply press Q. Perfect. We have a small extrude right here. Let's do that quickly. Select these polygons with live selection tool. I will make a small extrude inner. Select extrude inner and extrude. After that, press Ctrl and extrude. Maybe we can do that a little bit bigger. Just like that. I will need another loop cut for here. So let's add that one. Also, it looks like that these edges needs to be sharper than that. To do that, we can select these ones, right click, select slide, and get them closer to these edges. Same for this one. This is gonna make here sharper. Now we get that normal shading problem. Just select your fong tank and disable edge breaks and increase your fong angle. Now let's work on that top object. Let's turn off subdivision surface. I think I can use these polygons for that top object. You can see the dimensions fit perfectly. To do that, I will go to loop selection, select these polygons, and I will kind of steal these. Right click and split. This is going to create a new mesh. Let's switch to model mode. I will also duplicate that object, press Ctrl and drag your object, or simply press Ctrl and move your object. Let's align that to here, then select them both and move them up. I will turn off the first object for now. Just double click on that dot. So the first thing, I will make them one object, select them both, right click and connect objects and delete. Switch to edge mode, select the inside edges, double click on them, switch to scale tool, then press Ctrl and extrude. After that, I will say collapse, just like what we did in the first object. I will do the same process here, extrude, then collapse. Now let's switch to bridge tool, right click, select bridge, and connect these edges. After that, I will select these two edges and scale them. Just like that. I think I can turn on the first object. I will switch to polygon mode first and select all the polygons. Just double click on the polygons. This time I will use extrude tool. Right click, select extrude. And turn on caps. If you don't turn on caps, you will get that hole. So let's turn on caps. Extrude. After extrusion, I can move that extrude by move tool. Now I need to scale these new polygons. Switch to scale tool and scale. Now let's switch to top view. And I will select the scale only the x-axis. Now I will press E or switch to move tool, press Ctrl and extrude. One more time. And the last time. This time I will scale them. And only after scaling them all, I will just scale the x-axis. This is because when you scale them, you see that you don't get that even distance between the edges, like this one to this one. This one is bigger than that one. So to eliminate that, I will scale them first. And the second one, I am only scale the x-axis. And I think I scale them more. I think this is gonna be enough. Now, one more thing. I will add another loop cut to right here. Press shift. This is gonna snap the loop cut to the middle. Then select these new edges, double click on them, switch to scale tool and scale them. Also don't forget to scale them only from the x-axis. Just like that. Now we can add our loop cut. First thing, let's enable subdivision surface. As you can see, it only affects the first object because subdivision surface works only with one object or one group. So let's make a group, create a null, put it under your subdivision surface and put these two objects under that null. Now both of these objects will be affected by the subdivision surface. Let's start to add our loop cuts. Right click, select loop cut. I'm gonna add that to here, add here, also here. Maybe we can add here. I will undo the last loop cut because as you can see we have some curve here. So I will add a loop cut right in the middle, press shift I will slightly scale these edges. So small. Just like that. Let's not forget to excise X axis. Now I will add that loop cuts. I think this is now closer to our shape, our image plane. Now let's work on the next object, and this is going to be that metal part. To do that, as we did before, we can use these same polygons. So we don't need to create another one. Just split this, right click, split, select a new mesh, and we get a perfect mesh here. I will just say right click, extrude. Don't forget to turn the caps on and do that. Now we have that second extrude. To do that, let's make an extrude inner. To see the scale, I will just move it. Yeah, nice scale. Then I will move it here. Then press Ctrl and extrude. One more extrude inner. This is too much. Let's make it smaller. Alright, press Ctrl, extrude, then scale these polygons with scale tool, press T. And the last extrude, press Ctrl and extrude. Somewhere here. Now let's add our loop cuts, select loop cut. I believe we need one here. But let's see that live. Press Q and enable subdivision surface. Let's add one here, here, here. And let's not forget the bottom. We will not see that polygon. We can either delete or add these loop cuts. It's up to you. Now let's make that path. I think this time it's gonna be easier to create a new primitive cylinder. Change the radius and height. I will set the heights to 1, or we can keep them. It's not gonna be much important. Then we can make that editable. Press C or click here. The first thing, I will select the bottom polygons, press Ctrl, extrude, then I will scale them. And the last extrude. So we have a little curve here. I will add a loop cut, press Shift and make the loop cuts right in the middle. Switch edge mode, double click on these edges and scale them. And I can slightly move these up. Now we have these bottom polygons. I will just select them and delete. Press Ctrl, extrude, then scale. One more extrude. Just like that. Let's put that object to our subdivision group. Let's check the mesh. So as you can see, when I enable my subdivision surface, or object will shrink. Get the perfect size, I will select them all and scale them. Now this time I will only scale my Y axis. Alright, now I can start to add my loop cuts to make the edges sharper. But I believe that first thing I need to do is to give that object a thickness. Let's do that. Select, right click, select extrude. Make sure that the cap's on and make a slight extrude just like that. Now let's press Q, enable subdivision surface. Also select loop cut and add these loop cuts. Perfect. Let's check if we missed something. I will not do that button because it is a subject of another tutorial. Now I want to give you some information about topology. Let me first turn off that subdivision surface and turn the visibility of that pot. I will enable my lines. Click here or press N and B. So as you can see, we have a good topology right here. But if you look at here, it's not that good. It's not that bad either. Because of the surface is flat, the triangles will not make a problem. But always go for that topology. So how we can get rid of these triangles? Let's first select these polygons. Then simply delete. Right click, select close polygon hole and close here. Switch to points mode. Right click, line cut, and try to connect these points. Just like what we did in this part. And connect this one to this one. Alright, looks good, but now I have other points to connect, just like that one. We can extend our path. Just like that. Continue to cut until you connect that point to that one. We can make a slide, select slide and select point. Now we have an angle here. To make it a polygon, we need another line cut. Connect these ones. Switch to points mode one more time. Select slide and move these points. Just like that. Now we have a perfect topology, but it's not finished. We have these points. We can connect these to this, that point, then select center edge and say dissolve. But the easy way, I will show you the right version. I will do the same thing basically, just make a new path and follow the path until you connect your new path. Just like that. Now we will have that angle. I will add new cuts here. Then with slide tool, I will move these points. Also, I will move these two. Now I will add some loop cuts to here, because as you can see, the difference between their sizes, like this one is a lot different than this one. So what I like to do, add a loop cut. Just like this. They don't have to be perfectly match. Now let's try to fix these objects, top polygons. I will select them with live selection tool. I will delete them, right click, select close polygon hole, switch to points mode, line cut, and connect the points. And the last point, connect them just like that. For the bottom part, I will solo my object, click here. I will do the same steps. I can copy these ones and merge them here, but not to overcomplicate this tutorial, I will not do that. I will just simply select, delete, and do the same process. Make sure that you don't select other polygons. Then delete, right click, close polygon hole, switch to points mode, connect points. Now we have that empty edge, right click and dissolve. Continue to cut and connect the last points. All right, now let's add loop cuts. Just like that. Let's turn off solo. I will let these loop cuts also here. I don't want to leave these polygons just like that. This is gonna cause problems when texturing. I will select loop cut, press shift and add these loop cuts. I will add one more loop cut here. Let's check our mesh. Here I see no problem. Now we can move on to UV unwrapping. Let's switch to UV edit layout. I will first rename my objects. Pot, base, top, and metal part. Let's start with the pot. So when I start to UV unwrap my objects, I always start with the automatic UV. Let's first try that. Let's select all the objects and go to automatic UV. Let me move that keyboard to here. Then say apply. As you can see, we get a really good result. I will also check it with my UV map. I think I can go with that. Let's switch to second object, base. I will select all the polygons, automatic UV pack and apply. Check that with the UV map. Again, we got a really good result. For the top part, I will do the same thing. When I check my mesh with the UV map, you can see that we got some stretching with these polygons. For these kind of situations, I select my non-uniform scale and scale my UV island so that every square will get a perfect square. Not perfect, but close to. Something like that. I will rotate them, press shift, then rotate. After that, I will select all the polygons, go to UV picking, select bounding box, and hit apply. So this polygon rotation is a little off. Let me turn off that UV texture. Select the center edge, then say align UV islands. Perfect. Let's search the last one. So it looks like I forgot to add my loop cuts. Let's quickly add that. Right click, select loop cut, press shift, and add these loop cuts. After that, I will select all the polygons, switch to polygon mode, select all, automatic UV, packed, and apply. Let's check with the UV map texture. And to see it better, I will turn on solo. So we got some issues over here. The top part looks good, but here is not good. And if I select them, I can see it in my UV editor. Also, these are not very good. They are stretched. So in this kind of situations, I try to unwrap these by hand. So first thing, I will turn off that UV texture, select all the edges and say reset UV. Then I start to select sharp edges like these ones. Double click on them. I have selected the edges, sharp edges. I will look for and if I have got any cylindrical shapes, because when I got them, I need to make a seam, just like this one. Let's select this one, select the first one, press Ctrl Shift, then select the last one. We're gonna make a loop selection. Maybe we can select these and these ones too, because you can see that these are a cylindrical shape. And same here. Other than that, we are good to go, I believe. Let's just say UV unwrap. Looks good. Now I will select switch polygon mode, select all, UV packing, select bounding box and hit apply. This is gonna reposition them. Let's check these with UV texture. Looks good. We have some stretching in this part. I will do the same thing. Double click on that UV island. Scale, non-uniform scale. And try to get a good square. If you can't see them well, just make it a lot bigger with the normal scale tool. Then go back to non-uniform scale. Just like that. After that process, I will select them all, UV picking and apply. Let's select all, turn off solo, and check the mesh if something is wrong or not. I will press Ctrl Tab. It's gonna make my report the full screen. I have got some stretching in that pot. As you can see, these squares are not perfectly square. But as I said, you can change them by selecting the UV islands and scale them with the non-uniform scale. In that case, I will leave it them like that. Let's go back to standard. This time I will change my normals. I will select them all, right click and say reverse normals. Let's check the base, select all. This is good. Top looks good and the metal looks okay. That unwanted edge, I will dissolve that. Then I will create a material, go to color, surfaces and select checkboard and apply to my group. So if you want to check your UVs, this is an option too. Alright guys, that was it. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you learned something new. And if you model that object, make sure that you join our Discord group and share that with us. So I'll see you in the next tutorials. Bye.